Hey everybody, how are you today? It's the Devious Diva here, and I just wanted to do a quick video so you could get acquainted with me, anybody who's a new subscriber and checking out my channel. Just a few random facts about me, so I hope that you will enjoy watching this. First of all, my name is actually Jen or Jennifer. I prefer Jen, but I came up with the name Devious Diva for my channel for two reasons, or two explanations of each part of it. That is, the devious part is because in my life sometimes I can be malevolent, mischievous, a little bit of a devil. I like to play pranks. I'm a very facetious person. So I thought that part of the name would really fit me. As far as diva, that's kind of just because, it's a double D type of name. I am a bit of a girly girl. I used to be kind of a tomboy as a kid. But when I came into my own in my teens, I did enjoy having my nails done, my makeup right, my hair to look nice, like a lot of young women. And I do find that while I'm not narcissistic, I'm not like, step aside everyone, I need to walk down the carpet and look at me. I'm not one of those people, but I definitely try my best to keep up appearances to a certain point. It does matter to me. And so I'm a little bit of a diva, if you want to call it that. So I thought it would be a great name for my channel, and I just think fitting. Nothing genius, but it's certainly good enough for me. So let's see. I wrote some of these things down because I have no memory whatsoever. My favorite horror film is Black Christmas. I had said last night in a discussion on Night Watch Zone channel, you have to check out the video. I always say, not a good memory, but if you look at my tweets, I'm always retweeting everybody's stuff because I take a look on YouTube, I put the comments, I like it, and I want to get the message out to everybody to take a look. It was a fabulous discussion about everything, and one of the questions being, which decade was the best for horror movies? Well, in my opinion, that's the 70s, and I say that because even though in the 60s, starting with Peeping Tom and things like Psycho, yes, they were doing horror, but they had come from an era in the 50s of musicals. And I know that some of that was driven by the 40s and a time of World War II, and people needed some kind of peacefulness, some kind of, cheerfulness and happiness, and I get it. But in the 70s, people were now getting away from these religious zealots, and don't get me wrong if I'm offending anybody. I myself am a believer. I'm not religious, but I am spiritual, so I'm definitely not making fun of that or mocking that. But it was a time where people could let loose. Enough with, oh, this is the occult, it's demonic, it's evil. We're looking at things, the two that stood out, and I just meant commercially well-known and received, being The Omen and The Exorcist. But I do agree, Black Christmas, which is my favorite film, is one. There's Carrie. There are so many. There's a plethora of classic films of the 70s. It was just, to me, balls to the wall, no holds barred. Clockwork Orange, to me, was a masterpiece. But these things, and in that film, he's chasing a woman with a giant, I won't get into it, but if you've seen the film, you know what I'm talking about. It was, things like I Spit on Your Grave, when you talk about stuff that's kind of vulgar, could be a bit sexual. Some felt exploitation of women because now you're starting to see nudity. But it was a time where people did not hold back. After all this cheerfulness and being so conservative, we're finally getting to the meat and potatoes of slasher films, more gore, being demented. How crazy and wicked can you be? And so the 70s for me is the pioneer that really took it off. While the 80s is second to that, what I do think is that the 80s, to me, and only me, it's just an opinion, got a little bit soft. I love watching, Friday the 13th, Halloween, which technically did start in the 70s, and then we have Nightmare on Elm Street. I like the slasher films of the 80s, but I will say it started getting to me a little bit more soft, a little more cheesy, a little more lighthearted, and now, that shock value's gone, which it does happen. You get desensitized. You see enough nudity, you see enough gore, and now you have to switch things up a little. And again, I'm not shitting on those films because they're all great. I love them. I have so much fun with them. It's just one of those things where I think that you can always, do more with that. And I think there was just no limit to all of that stuff. So anyway, a question that I also had during that discussion is, who are your influences? I was very interested to see, be it certain movies, an actor, a writer, a producer, director that was influential in why you love horror films or why you do what you do, reviewing horror movies, or even if you're just a fan or somebody that's part of the discussions, what makes you love horror. Now for me, there's a few people that stand out. one of them is Alfred Hitchcock. He is the master of suspense. He brought great movies, and the three that I love best are Psycho, The Birds, and Rear Window. I think this man had such talent. I think he really did know how to make you be at the edge of your seat. And again, these are just my opinions, but he is someone that definitely influenced me. I even watched Alfred Hitchcock Presents with my dad, all the black and white shows, and we really loved it. Another, which is more sci-fi, would be Rod Serling, who is the creator and writer for The Twilight Zone. I loved that show. I thought it was just awesome. If anyone see it, Nightmare at 20,000 Feet with William Shatner, where he's on the plane and he sees a creature that is trying to take down the plane. The influence, Child's Play, Don Mancini, the creator, had said that Twilight Zone's Talkie Tina episode, where this little doll, she can speak and she terrorizes and kills a man who's an evil stepfather to a little girl. All this stuff on Twilight Zone, you find out that people talk about it years later, and it's influential to Child's Play and that whole franchise, which I also really love. One of my favorites, Bride of Chucky, because I love Jennifer Tilly for whatever reason. Probably because she has that, blonde sex pot look, and she's sort of goth in a way, like her makeup and things like that. And I thought that she really breathed life into that series when she came into it. So I was very entertained by her. So she's someone that I love in horror, out of horror, but she's definitely somebody who's an influence. Definitely John Carpenter. I love everything he does, but the number one thing for me is The Thing, and always will be. And that also coincides with the fact that I love Kurt Russell. I think that he's a great action star. I just think he's immensely talented. I love McCready in that, just the fact that it's like, oh, I'm going to go get drunk. And he's the fearless leader that isn't going to take shit. He's going to get to the bottom of it. And my favorite line in The Thing is, fuck you too. That to me was the best. Whenever I show people that movie, I'm like, you got to watch it. Kurt Russell makes it. He really sells it for me. Another person that stands out for me, although maybe not known for this genre specifically because he does do so many other things, but Jack Nicholson. Oh gosh, I love The Shining. It was a great movie. And Jack Nicholson's performance was great. And Jack Nicholson is in one of my favorite movies of all time, which is not a horror film, and that is One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. That was a Michael Douglas film, and I think most people have seen it, but if you haven't, gosh, was that movie ever a reason to start loving movies and appreciating good acting, good storyline, the whole bit. I think that's something that people should see in their lifetime, and for some it is considered the best movie of all time, and for yours truly it definitely is. I'm trying to think of what else. As far as actresses, I would say Sigourney Weaver. I do like the Alien franchise, and I love seeing her in Ghostbusters. I think that she's an awesome action star, and so she's a favorite for me. Another is Kelly Maroney. She does a lot of the 80s films that I really love, which would be Chopping Mall, Night of the Comet, The Zero Boys, and so many other things too that she's done, that some is like horror comedy. She really flexes her wings and does all different kinds of movies, but even within horror, she does look to the more, joyful, laughing, haha side of it. And so I really do love her. She's really awesome. Betty Davis, who's an old school star, but she was doing Whatever Happened to Baby Jane that I reviewed. She did a movie called Hush, Hush, Sweet Charlotte. And so many other films that she started doing later in life as horror, but she's considered one of the greatest actresses of all time. And I think when you watch something like Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, someone who has to regress to a little child, someone who has to be angry, someone who has to be sad, and at times, just drunk and sloppy and skip around like a 5-year-old, she has a way of really tapping into someone with split personality that kind of has a huge range of emotion and mannerisms, and she's just amazing. I could go on for hours, but that is definitely for me. And the other person that I would say would be Tim Burton. I love his films. I would never consider his films scary necessarily, but I have a love for them. I find his films to be on the darker side. I loved when he did Batman in 1989. Before that, all we had was Adam West's Batman in 1966, which is cute, but it's that, kind of comic strip hokey, where they start punching the villains, zap, pow, and it's cute, it's amusing. I love Adam West, or Adam Wee, for those who ever watch Family Guy, for that reference. And it was cute, but I did like Tim Burton taking over with Warner Brothers and saying, I want to give my spin on it. And being a fan of Batman, although I love the Marvel Universe, I could go on for days. Just adjusting the camera. But I could go on for days about Marvel movies. That's a whole other story because not everything for me is horror. I do love Marvel movies. And just as a side note, my favorite is Black Widow, and that is because I am a redhead who's, or at least can be a redhead at times, who has some Russian in me, and I think she's pretty badass as far as the women of that universe. But I definitely like the male characters as well. But anyway, getting back to that whole Batman point, I feel that Tim Burton really breathed life into what Bob Kane, the creator, wanted, because Gotham City was a dark place. It's a dark time with a lot of scary villains, crazies walking around dressed like a cat, looking like a penguin. And I think he really captured the true essence of what was the original intent for that comic strip. And as far as Tim Burton goes, I love a lot of his films. I only listed a few because there's so many, but one of them is Dark Shadows, which he teams up with his, we'll say, wife. The legality part didn't really matter to me. They're not together anymore, but Helena Bonham Carter, who is an influence to me. I love her because I think that she is a good actress. I think she has a dark and zany look. I love seeing her interviews with the red carpet where she says, I'm going to look the way I want. Fuck it. They're going to ridicule me even if I wore a beautiful gown, like something Vera Wang with an elegant hairstyle. She's like, they're going to make fun of me. They're going to shit on me. So I may as well look the way I want. So she looks quirky. The hair is all done a mess and she has so much fun with it. She has like this really dark look and I love it. But Dark Shadows, Sweeney Todd, Beetlejuice, Ed Wood, Edward Scissorhands, Secret Window, Sleepy Hollow. I definitely would say something that entertained me within what I just said. Ed Wood. Oh God, he was, considered the worst director, writer in Hollywood for horror films in the 1950s. But he brought Plan 9 from Outer Space, which I love and want to talk about in retro horror. I think it's awesome. But I think that was a really entertaining movie. I loved it. So what else? The last thing I wanted to say that I wanted to bring up is that one movie I have yet to see is Firestarter, and I'm excited to see the new movie, but I have to go back and look at the original. I have never ever seen it, and as someone who loves Stephen King, who loves horror, and I do love Drew Barrymore, I am excited to see what this movie is about. I have an idea, of course, what it's about, but I've yet to see it, so I'm really excited. I'd love to hear all of your thoughts on your favorite movies, what you think of Firestarter. I'm going to check it out tonight, and I'd just love to have your perspective on all of this stuff, or your thoughts, a yay and nay, on if you like any of the actors or some of the movies that I made mention of. But anyway, I really just wanted to do this video to kind of just come to you and say, hey, this is who I am. The Devious Diva, aka Jen from Rhode Island, 38 years old, born and raised here, and I just love everything horror, like all of you. I thank all my subscribers. I say that in every video. I'm a bit redundant, but I'm always appreciative of all of your love and support. I enjoy watching all of you, and I look forward to doing some more videos. I have the upcoming Christine, which is going to be live, and I'm super, super psyched about that. So I hope that, if you have a chance, life is crazy. I get it. Hopefully, if you can't be there live, you can check it out later. I greatly appreciate it. I love everything that you guys are doing, and today I'm off, and then I start going back to work on Monday. So it's crunch time, and I need to check out as many of your videos and stuff that I can while I have this downtime. But I'm starting to feel better, and I'm just excited to get back to regular life, which is hectic, but still a blessing. Still glad to be here, still breathing, still doing well. And yak, 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 blab, blab, blab. But anyway, guys, I hope that you enjoy your Friday and you enjoy your weekends. And for those of you celebrating Valentine's Day, I hope that you have a good one with people that you love. So I'll talk to you all soon. Have a great day. Bye-bye.